How's everyone doing? So in this video, I want to talk about MCP, which is short for Model Context Protocol. Model Context Protocol was launched a few months ago by Anthropic, the founders of the large language model Claude, and it's a framework that you can use to have your AI assistants or AI platforms interact with different software. It's something that I've been trying to wrap my head around as far as why it's so useful and what all the rave is about it, because it's definitely been gaining steam over the past couple of weeks. And in this video, I'm going to go through the model context protocol, why I believe that this could actually be a mainstay when it comes to integrating AI agents into your workflows as the technology continues to progress. And I also want to actually go about installing one of these model context protocol servers and show an actual practical example of how you can use this within a workflow. And so if you haven't already, uh, please hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and let's get into it. So model context protocol. So I have a diagram here, and I drafted this to kind of give a picture of what this is in like a very simplified manner. So if you think about these different AI platforms you interact with, so take whether it's a ChatGPT or Claude that we have open here, or an AI tech tool like Cursor. You, as a user, will interact with one of these platforms. In this instance, we would be considering these platforms the AI assistant. And then that AI assistant, so take Claude, for example, can then tap into other software or platforms that are part of your tech stack. So that may be Airtable, it may be Notion, Google Drive, YouTube, Fireflies. Any software that you can think of can have an MCP server created for it. And so it becomes part of this sort of network of software that can all interact with your AI assistant. And so if you are dealing with something like an Airtable, rather than going into Airtable myself and updating a record or creating a new record, I might use a platform like Claude or Cursor to actually update the CRM through the large language model by typing in a prompt, or by even having an AI agent or assistant update the record for me by using a voice software like a Super Whisper or a Talktastic to speak into the large language model for it to make the update itself. And so the AI assistant will interact with one of these platforms to update a record, and then the response will be that record being updated for you to then take another action afterward. And so I look at it like a more distributed version of one of the traditional automation tools that you think about, like your make.coms or N8N, in that it can connect your different software and your tech stack with each other, but in a little bit less of a structured or organized way. It's a little bit more modular, if you will. And so with these MCPs, you have a bunch of them, and there's a platform, Composio, that deals with authentication and APIs and plugins that has created 250 plus, they've compiled 250 plus MCPs across different platforms, everything from Google Sheets to Notion, Firecrawl, which can be used for extracting and data scraping. And you can use these MCP servers that have been created and apply them to your own systems. And so I can take Canva, for example, install it within Claude or install it within Cursor, which I use very frequently, and have it create a design for me or do whatever actions have been permissioned within these different MCP servers. All right, so for this, we're going to use Google Calendar to set up a Google Calendar MCP server where you'll be able to call in appointments that you've scheduled to get information, or you'll be able to create appointments from within. We're going to use Cursor for this. So you're going to click on the, first of all, you're going to set up a Composio account and go to the mcp.composio.dev site, and then within the Google Calendar application, you're going to click generate to generate an MCP URL. Now you're going to take this, you're going to go over to Cursor, and we're going to start a new project. So we're going to open up project, let's say, I don't know, calendar appointments. And this is something that you can use within any of your projects, but we're doing this just as a way of testing this out. So then in Cursor, you're going to go over to the top left, click on Cursor Settings, and then you're going to go down to MCP, add new MCP server. You can say Google Calendar. I'm going to use an SSE command type, and then paste the server URL in. Now we have Google Calendar connected to our Cursor through this MCP server, and you see all of the different tools that it has access to. So now if we exit out of here, we can go over to chat and say, I'd like to get some information about appointments I have this week, and also schedule appointments on my calendar. So then I'm going to say, make sure my Google Calendar is can you check to see if my Google Calendar is connected. All right, and see what it says. All right, so you see it called the MCP tool. It looks like you don't have an active connection yet, so we're going to set up that Google Calendar connection. So it gives you this link right here, which you can paste into your browser, and through this you can connect to your Google Calendar. I'm going to select all for what it has access to. All right, it's authenticated. Now if I come back here, it says once you've completed these steps, it'll verify the connection, and then it'll be able to check appointments, schedule new appointments, look at available time slots. So I'm going to say completed. So it's getting the calendar list. It's saying it's going to use my primary calendar. So this is for my email, Pinterest Media, aki.b@pinterestmedia.com. And so if I wanted to go ahead and schedule a meeting or an appointment, I could say something like, can you block off, let's say, can you block off time for this Thursday at 4 p.m. EST for a marketing outreach meeting. There should be an invite that goes to, let's say, tyrone@gmail.com, and then it can actually go to your Google Calendar and create that meeting. This is how you can use the MCP. So now your cursor is connected to your Google Calendar. These MCP servers work for different platforms, so you can use Claude, for example, as that AI assistant, or you could do it via terminal using Python. In this case, I'm using Cursor, and Cursor is what I'm using most often these days as far as AI tech tools go. And if I, let's say, have an MCP server connected to my Airtable and to my Zoom and to my Google Sheets, I'm able to call and send information to and from these different platforms. And you could see how this is sort of similar to using one of these more traditional tools, but in a more sort of flexible and modular way. Let me know what you think about MCP. Is it something that you're going to try out? Do you feel like this is the future of AI agents and integration? Definitely interested in hearing your thoughts. But otherwise, here is what MCP is about,